fix your crown, we're glad you're here. It's Toxic Tuesday.
Hey guys, welcome to another Toxic Tuesday. We did have some audio issues, so we had to restart it. We restarted our computer and live, and I think that we're good to go. But if you are just now joining us, I'm very sorry for the inconvenience earlier. If you can let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me, that would be wonderful. I'm gonna give everyone a few minutes to join. I know we had a bunch of people in the second live. From the second addition to the segment from last week, which was how to leave an abusive relationship. Hey, Kylie. Thanks so much for letting us know that we had some audio issues. So I'm going to check in with Kylie real quick to see. Yes, she can hear me. Okay, great. We had to do a little reboot. Sometimes computers don't want to work sometimes, so we had to do a little reboot. But I'm so excited to have you guys here in this live because we have segment 2 of how to leave an abusive relationship. And this is really important, and I want to follow in with you guys and check in and see how you guys are doing. And I have a lot of great material for you guys this week. So, without further ado, also we do have our anonymous link that you can send in for any submissions. We do have 2 submissions that I'm going to go ahead and address really quick. And then we'll get started to segment 2. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. If you're here in the live, please send us a fire emoji. That way I know that you're here. So excited to have you guys here. In the meantime, we did get a few questions real quick that I'm going to respond to. The first one was the anonymous submission. Oh yes, let me send you guys the link. Okay, here's the link in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, Kylie. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm going to send you guys a link from our YouTube channel if you have any anonymous submissions that you guys want us to answer. That's what we are here for, to create a safe space for you guys. And we have a lot of great material coming up. Let's see if this works. Let me know if you can click the link in the chat. Thanks for the fire emojis. Does that link work? Anyone with the link? Yes, let's see. Does the link work? Wonderful. Okay. Does it work? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How you guys doing tonight? What are you guys up to? It's Tuesday, so I know we're like in the middle of the week a little bit. But I just want to check in and see how you guys are doing. You guys are good? Yeah, I'm good too. I've been working really hard on this content for you guys, and I'm really excited to share it because this is something that's personal and near and dear to my heart. So it's very important to me as well that you guys have the information that I didn't have when I was younger. So I want to make sure you guys have all the information. Here we go. I think this is a better link for you guys. Okay. We did get an anonymous submission in, and they said, how do you get over an ex? That is a really great question. How do you get over an ex? That's a really, really good question. I think it really depends on how long you guys have been dating, if you guys are married. I think a lot goes into a relationship if you guys were married, if you guys were long-term, if you guys just dated a little bit. Me, personally, how to get over a long-term relationship is to keep yourself busy. I think it's a great opportunity for you to learn how to work on yourself and keep a routine and stability, you know? Anything that you had in the relationship versus, like, you know, shared dreams, future plans, things like that, you still need to follow through and continue those. That's the first step in acknowledging that that was a version of yourself that existed, and you still want to continue that, you know? You don't need closure in the relationship. Some people will just never give it to you. But you do need distance, okay? Don't stalk them. Don't check their social media. No late night texts. No, I just want to have a coffee and catch up. It really never really ends well. And then sometimes you end up taking them back anyway. So what was the point of that? I do think that it's really hard to do because I've done it myself. But you need to rebuild your identity without them. Take a solo trip, start a new hobby or project. I like going to the gym to keep myself busy. Redecorate your space. You need to stop focusing on them and be the best person that you can be. Joining a hobby, a sport, things like that is really good to keep you busy. Because if you're not keeping yourself busy and you're laying in bed and you're crying all the time, then that's when the depression and the dark thoughts start to eat you up. And we don't want that. Hopefully that answered your question. There's no easy or right or wrong way. Everybody grieves different. Everybody, heals different. But learning from the relationship and being the best person that you can be, I think that's the best way to get over an ex is, be the best person that you can be moving forward and make adjustments, for the next relationship because you live and you learn. The next question that we got is, do you have a dating relationship topic that you would like us to create a next video on? How to continue or start long-distance dating. That's a great one. We are in the process of working on that video on how to make a long-distance relationship successful. So that is in the works. In the meantime, the advice that I can give you is that long-distance relationships are not for the faint of heart. But when they're done right, they can build an emotional, deep intimacy that even regular local couples envy. But it does take work, and if you don't have patience and you have commitment issues, a long-distance is not a relationship for you. You need to communicate with purpose, not just texting. You need meaningful connection, Schedule regular FaceTime calls. Daily, weekly, whatever your agreement is. You need to ask deeper questions, not just, how was your day? That's so basic. Send voice notes or videos of what you're doing and how your day is. That way they can feel more connected to you, That's really important. Pro tip from advice, because I've been in a long-distance relationship before. Quality over quantity. Don't try to be burned out staying connected 24/7 because they do say that the heart grows fonder in absence, And that's really hard when you're away from them and you want to, be at their ball all the time and text them and call them. But they also have a life, and being able to be your own person is really important. So then you need to plan your next visit. That way you guys both have something to look forward to. Set a date and a time, stick to it. Alternate who travels. You travel this time, they travel next time. Budget and plan early. That way it shows commitment, not someday energy. You guys need actual timelines. Set expectations. What is your goal? Are we going to end up moving in together? Is someone going to move here? Are you going to move there? How often are we going to do visits? Am I going to fly and see you guys once a week? Well, once a month? Depending on how close or far you guys are. Be awkward now. Be honest now. Clarity saves pain later. Please, 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 please be awkward now. Have the conversation. That way it's very clear what your expectations are and you guys have everything out in the open. Trust is everything, and if you guys don't have trust and you guys are, having to prove things constantly, and it's very difficult and you can sour a relationship really fast. Give trust like it's oxygen and, demand the same back. And then the end game, I would say, is are you guys working towards living in the same space? What's your ideal timeline? Who's willing to move? Love needs a future to stay alive, so if there's no destination, it's just emotional limbo, and I don't think that's really fair to anybody. Protecting your mental health is important. You're still an individual with your own life and timeline. Keep your friends and your hobbies the same. Keep yourself busy. If you're only living for the next phone call, that's very difficult for you, and that's a lot of pressure on the other person as well. So you need to be happy with yourself first before you get into a relationship, whether it's long-term or local, my friends, okay? I hope that answered your question. We do have a video for you coming out in the next week or two, since our animation does take a lot of time, but it is coming for you, I promise. The next question that we had that was sent anonymously was, what's the worst dating experiences you've ever had? I've had a worst dating experience. I haven't had a worst dating experience, but I think I was in a relationship while she was trying to get over her ex, and I forgot what that's called. A rebound, my friend. That's called a rebound, and that's not a good situation to be in. But we're so happy to have you here, and hopefully our long distance video helps you. I'm going to check the chat and see if we have any comments. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hey, Noctivist, so happy to have you here. We're going to go ahead and go over our live segment 2 of how to leave an abusive relationship. Welcome back. It's Toxic Tuesday. I'm literally bouncing in my seat right now because I cannot wait to hear how you guys are doing after the last live. I know we had a lot of people in the last live, and I know we had a lot of people watch it back live as well. So hopefully you guys find some value in this content, and you guys can give me an update and let me know how you're doing. If you're new here, first of all, welcome to the chaos. We're the Date or Detonate family where we drag red flags through the mud and teach you how to block, bless, and bounce with style. Last week, we did a deep dive on how to leave a toxic relationship, and honey, it's been insane. Our messages and anonymous submissions have been flooded, and I mean flooded, with updates, questions, success stories, and some of you asking for help with the next step, and we're so honored to be able to be here for you guys and to give you guys the support and help that you guys need. So today we're going to do a little bit different. This is going to be our official check-in episode. So I want to check in with you guys. How are you guys doing today? It's Tuesday. How are you guys doing? I'm seeing some updates in the chat. That's great. I want to hear about everyone's win today. So grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever keeps your caffeinated self up for some truth telling. Because the next hour, we're going to be checking on your progress, troubleshoot any roadblocks you guys hit, and figure out your next steps together, okay? Here comes segment 2 of how to leave an abusive relationship. Now, let's be real about why we're here today. And after last week's stream, you probably fall into one of these categories. Category 1. The action takers. You watched the stream, you took notes, and you've already started implementing some of the steps. Maybe you opened that bank account and reached out to a friend, or started documenting those incidents we talked about last episode. You're making moves, small, but still making moves, and you might be feeling overwhelmed or unsure about what comes next. Or you may be in category 2. The paralyzed planners. You watch every minute, you know exactly what you need to do. You've probably made lists and charts, but you haven't actually done anything yet. You're stuck in analysis paralysis, and that's okay. We're going to help get you unstuck today. Category 3. Are you in category 3? The doubters. You watched our stream last week, maybe even felt motivated during it. And now you're second guessing everything. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I was just overreacting. Maybe they'll really change this time, you know? No, honey, we need to talk. If you feel any of those things, you're definitely in a toxic relationship. Or abusive, even worse. Thank you guys so much. If you guys are still here, send me some fire emojis in the chat. I want to see how live you guys are. I worked really hard in segment 2, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. I'm seeing a little bit of each different category. And then category 4 is the last one, which is called the supporters. You're not in a toxic relationship yourself, but you're here because you love someone that is. And you want to know how to help them. You're the real MVP, my friend, and we're going to give you some tools today. Yep, Kylie said, shouldn't even be questioning it. Of course, 100%. Thank you for the fire emojis, everybody. If you're here, please leave us some fire emojis. We want to get up in the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully, share this live. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, so we can make sure that anyone who needs to watch this live gets the information that they need to leave their abusive relationship in part 2. Okay, so last week I gave you an exact how-to roadmap all the way down from A to Z. Today, we're actually going to talk about walking that path. And trust me, it's messier, it's scarier, and it's more complicated than any script you can prepare for. But you have me, and that's exactly why we're here, together, to navigate this mess together. I've personally been through it myself, so I feel very educated on this topic to give you guys the strength and the tools and the material you need to leave. Before we dive into the challenges and the roadblocks, I want to start by celebrating the wins. Thank you, Kylie, for the fire emojis. You're the real MVP. I want to start by celebrating the wins. Even if you haven't think you made any real progress, I guarantee you've done something brave this week. And I love you for that. Now, I'm going to read you some of the messages we got in the anonymous submissions. And don't worry, I'm not going to use any names or identifying details. So if you want to send us, you can hit the anonymous form. But in the meantime, these are the messages we got. And it gives us the motivation to keep going. Message 1. I finally told my sister what's been happening. She cried, and she's been waiting for me to reach out for months. Oh my God, that's huge. Thank you so much for reaching out to your sister. Reaching out for support is one of the hardest steps, and you did it. And I'm so proud of you, my friend. Message 2. Hey, Date or Detonate, I opened a separate bank account, and I put $50 in it. It's not much, but it's a start. You really motivated me. Thank you so much. Are you kidding me? That's everything. $50 represents your future freedom, my friend. And that's not just money. That's hope in a bank account. And I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much for letting us know. This gives us all the motivation and the willpower to keep going because we want to make sure. I know it's an uncomfortable topic, it's controversial, and it's hard to admit when you're in a relationship like that, and we want to make sure we give all the help to everybody that needs it. And thank you so much for sharing your win with us. I really appreciate it. It's so important. It's so important to make that first step, and you can do it. Kylie says, great job, 100%. Message 3. I keep writing a journal of incidents. I had no idea how often these things were happening until I started writing them down. That's so important. Documentation helps you see patterns and validates your experiences when they try to gaslight you later. Just like how we talked about last episode about documenting everything. So very good job. I'm so proud of you. Message 4. I haven't left yet, but I stopped apologizing for things that aren't my fault. It's small, but it feels revolutionary. My friend, revolutionary is the perfect word. Changing these small patterns is how you start reclaiming your power. That's amazing. So proud of you. I love seeing all these wins in the chat. I love it. 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 I'm so happy for you guys. I love you guys so much. Oh, we got another one in the chat. Noctivus says, how do I break off a friends with benefits relationship? It's not toxic. It's just not for me. Text in person, ghost. What I'll say? Ooh, let me think about that for a second. That's a good one. Thank you for sharing, Noctivus. I'm so glad to have you here. Okay, breaking off a friends with benefits situation can be weird because it's casual, but it can also be emotionally layered. The goal, in my opinion, is to be clear, kind, and clean. I personally don't think you should be vague or dramatic or ghosty, just in case you see them in real life. And it could be awkward, you know, if you still want to be kind of friends with this person. This is my personal opinion. Rule 1, don't ghost. Even if it was casual, in my opinion, ghosting is still disrespectful. We did a video on this in our channel. If you cared enough to be in bed together, care enough to send a message. Just a little nice one. You know, short and simple and sweet. If the relationship wasn't emotionally deep or serious, a respectful text, in my opinion, is perfectly okay. And this is kind of what I would say. This is my base script of kind of what I would say. Hey, so-and-so, I've been thinking about our situation. I just want to be honest. I just don't really think that this friends with benefits is really working for me anymore. It's something personal, and you've been really cool, and I've actually really enjoyed our time, but I'm kind of looking for something different now, and I'm on a different path. I just want to be upfront with you and wish you the best. I don't want any hard feelings. That's what I would say, you know? Just in case you have to see this person later in life, you know, don't want things to be awkward. Kylie says she'd personally ghost. You don't owe them anything. You're unofficial. That's also a good point, too. You know? What do you think, chat? Should Noctivus ghost or send the message? The friends with benefits breakup message. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. You can also say, I'd still like to be friends down the road if that feels natural, you know? No pressure at all. I don't know. I'm in the opinion of the less enemies, the better. You know, anyone could, you know, be a good friend or be helpful later on in life. So I don't really like to end things on a bad note, personally. You know, the world is hard enough. That's just my opinion. Thank you for sharing, Noctivus and Kylie. I appreciate and value your opinion as well. When to do it in person to break up, though, if you've been seeing each other for a while and you guys need some real emotional closeness. Otherwise, a text is fine. Don't over-apologize or send a monologue. I personally hate paragraph texts, so just avoid that. Yep, Kylie says ghost. Ghost, goodbye! That's funny. Keep them coming. You guys keep me on my toes. Send me more. Send me more. In the meantime, we're going back to our segment 2. The small wins that are actually huge. Let me tell you what I consider a win, because some of you may not realize how brave you've been. You watched the entire stream last night, which is amazing and shows that you're ready to face the truth. You're here today, which shows that you've committed to change. If you've started asking questions about their behavior instead of your own reactions, you started making excuses for them, and now you stopped, even in your own head. That's a small win. You started remembering who you were before this relationship. That's a good one. That's a small win. You've allowed yourself to imagine a life without them. That's a really good win too. You stopped walking on eggshells, even if for 5 minutes. These might seem small, but they're actually big shifts in your mindset. You're rewiring years of conditioning, you know, and that just doesn't happen overnight. So that's a great job, my friends. They may seem small, but they're definitely a win. A bigger win would be if you've opened a separate bank account. That's a really big win. Don't discount yourself. If you're reaching out to old friends and family, that's a really big win too. If you started therapy and consulting with lawyers, that's also a big win. If you're looking at apartments or having the breakup conversation or going no contact, that's a big win. If you're moving out, that's a very big win. I'm very proud of you. None of this is easy. Nobody said it would be easy. But if you've done any of these things, I'm so proud of you. And you're not just changing your life, you're probably inspiring more people to change theirs too. And I'm so proud of you. If you guys are still here with me in the chat, please send me some fire emojis. We can get up in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks, YouTube. Yep, anything's a win. Kylie says, big or small, anything is a win. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys are so brave. I'm so proud of you. Okay, segment 2, we're going to talk about the real challenges and the roadblocks, because I know not everyone has success stories to share yet, and that's completely normal. Let's talk about the roadblocks that you've been hitting and how to get around them. This is probably the most common message that I've received. You've opened a bank account, right? That's great, that's a win. But then you get paranoid that they'd find out. You reached out to a friend, which is great, but then you minimize everything when they start asking questions. You looked at apartments, which is great, but then you convince yourself that you can't afford it. Here's the thing about fear, my friends. It's not always a stop sign. Sometimes it's a sign that you're doing something important and life-changing, which is scary. But also, the question isn't, am I scared? The question is, am I more scared of staying or leaving? That was really deep. Here's some fear management strategies for you guys, okay? Thanks, Kylie. I really appreciate it. If you're still here with me in the chat, send me some fire emojis. Okay, fear management strategies. Start smaller. If opening a bank account feels too big, start by saving cash in a hidden envelope, right? Use the buddy system. Tell your support person about your fears. That way they can help push you through. Remember your why, right? Go back to your list of reasons for leaving and read it when fear hits. Take one day at a time. You don't have to have your whole plan figured out today, right? Leaving is a process and it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Someone just asked in our anonymous, what do I do if they find out that you have a bank account? That's a great question. Thank you so much for sending that in. Here's the thing. If you're afraid of them finding out about basic adult activity, about having your own bank account, that tells you everything you need to know about how controlling you are, how more important it is that you leave, right? Roadblock 2. They're being really good right now. I don't know. I really don't want to leave. Oh, honey, I saw this coming from a mile away. You watched the stream. You loved it last week. Maybe they sensed something different about you, and now all of a sudden they're being the perfect partner again, right? They're helpful. They're attentive. Maybe they brought up couples therapy and made a few promises to change. But, my friends, there's a term that we call hovering, like a vacuum, trying to suck you back in. It's not genuine. It's not real change. It's damage control. Okay? And we don't want to be sucked back in, my friends, because then it's even harder to leave. How to tell the difference between real change and performance, okay? Real change is consistent over months, not days or weeks. Real change comes with accountability, not just promises. Real change doesn't include them ignoring their past behavior. Real change means that they take accountability for their past behavior, right? Real change doesn't disappear the moment you stop threatening to leave, right? The hoovering playbook, okay? Please take note of this. They might be doing some of these things or all of these things. Suddenly, they're helping with chores without being asked. Oh my God. Clap for that. Let's get a clap going for that. They're suddenly being extra affectionate or attentive. Wow. Bringing up therapy or counseling because they know that you really like that, right? Making grand gestures. Yep, Kylie's right. They're making grand gestures about flowers and gifts and surprise dates, right? Talking about how the future and the plans that they're going to make because they know that's what you like and they're trying to sucker you in. Being on their best behavior around your friends and family because they know how important that is to you, right? Don't get sucked in, my friends. Very easy to do. Remember, if they can be this person now, they should have been this person all along. Imagine the fact that you took it threatening to leave them, and now all of a sudden they've magically changed. Tells you everything you need to know, and don't ignore that. Remember, they should have been this person all along. Okay, roadblock number 3. Everyone thinks I'm overreacting. This one breaks my heart because it's so common. You finally worked up the courage to tell someone what's been happening, and they said things like, well, all couples fight. He seems so nice when I see him. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Have you tried talking to him about it? Marriage is hard work, you know. Yep, Kai says it's fake. Imagine it's fake. First of all these people mean well, but they don't understand what you're dealing with, right? Toxic relationships are really good looking normal from the outside, okay? How to handle unsupportive responses. Remember that their reaction says more about their understanding than your situation. Find people who do understand, like support groups and therapists and friends who've been through similar situations. Trust your own experience over other people's opinions, right? You don't need anyone's permission to leave a relationship that makes you unhappy. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for sending some fire emojis in the chat. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are finding value in this content. Roadblock number 4 is I don't have enough money, right? This is a big one, and it's often used as an excuse to stay when the real issue is fear. But let's have a real address about the practical side of this first, okay? We're going to talk about this. If money is genuinely an issue, right? Kai says, yep, right? If money is genuinely the issue, you need to start looking into local resources for people leaving abusive and toxic relationships. I have one up in the screen right above. You can call that number. I also gave you guys some information in the last live at the end of it. All the phone numbers you can call. If money's an issue, consider staying with friends or family temporarily. You have to do what you have to do to be safe, right? Look into some transitional housing programs, okay? They have those. Apply for assistance programs you might qualify for that you didn't think about. Sometimes it takes some effort. You gotta look into it. Consider getting a roommate to split costs, you know? Look into cheaper housing, even if it means downsizing significantly. Now I'm gonna tell you some personal information about myself real quick, okay? In order for me to leave the abusive relationship that I was in, I ran away and I stayed on someone's couch. And I stayed on their couch until I found an opening at the shelter, the women's domestic abuse victim shelter. And then I stayed in the shelter for a while until I was able to get back on my feet. Did it suck? Yes, it did. But you know what? Look at me now. And I got out and I'm alive. And that's all that matters. So sometimes you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. You have to give up. You have to be willing to give up things for your future. And I'm so much happier now. And you need to understand that. It's not going to be comfortable and fun and easy. None of it is. But being alive is more important, okay? Ask yourself honestly, if money wasn't an issue, would you leave? If the answer is yes, then money isn't really the problem. Fear is. And that's okay. But let's call it what it is so we can address this properly, right? Remember, being broke and free is better than being financially comfortable and miserable, okay? Roadblock 5, what about the kids? The most complex roadblock, and it deserves serious consideration. But let me ask you, are your kids learning about this relationship? And what are they learning about watching yours? Things to consider. Kids are more aware of tension and conflict than you think, right? Staying in a toxic relationship doesn't protect them, it teaches them what love looks like. You can't be the best parent when you're constantly stressed and walking on eggshells. Kids need at least one emotionally healthy parent, so you gotta be strong, my friend. Practical considerations. Consult with a family lawyer about custody arrangements, right? Document any concerning behavior toward the children, because that's important, right? Consider how toxic dynamics affect your parenting. You can't change who their parent is, so sometimes you have to really, come together and figure something out. And it's hard. It's not easy. Think about the kind of relationship model you want to show your kids. You guys aren't together anymore. You can't change who their parent is. And sometimes you have to put yourself and your pride set aside to be able to, co-parent effectively, which is really difficult. It's very difficult. But you have to do it for your kids, especially if you're out of the control of that other person. It makes it a lot easier to be able to set boundaries. It's very difficult, my friends, to set boundaries when you guys are still living in the same household and you're still being abused, okay? One day, you're determined to leave, right? And then the next you say, oh, well, maybe I can work it out. And then this back and forth is exhausting, but it's also normal. And I want to let you know why this happens, okay? It happens because you're trauma bonded and you crave the person that hurt you and you want them to make it better and they're not. You're grieving the relationship you thought you had and you're not really ready to let go. Change is scary, even when it's good for you. They're probably love bombing you when they sense you pulling away. And we have a whole video on our channel about love bombing, so make sure you check that out. How to handle the flip-flopping, my friends. I hope you guys are getting great value from this. Thank you, Kylie, so much for being here. Anyone else, if you guys are watching this live or watching this back, please send us some comments in the chat. Send me a fire emoji so I know you guys are still here and you're with me. I hope that you guys get a lot of value from this content, okay? How to handle the flip-flopping. Write down your reasons for leaving when you're clear-headed so you don't forget, right? Read the list when you're wavering. Talk to your support system when you're having doubts. And remember that feeling when you're confused doesn't mean that you're wrong. Kylie says, love bombing sucks. Yes, it does, right? We just got an anonymous submission that asks, how do I know if I'm making the right decision? That's a really great question. Thank you for sending that. Here's the thing. If you're in a healthy relationship and you don't constantly question whether you should leave, the fact that you're asking means you probably already know the answer. Okay? I hope this helps you. Now let's get into some specific situations that people have been asking us about, right? These are real questions from real people, so let's troubleshoot it together, okay? They said, I opened a bank account, but now I'm really paranoid they'll find out. Okay, first of all, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you for taking that step. Let's address the paranoia. Practical steps. Using paperless statements to send to set them to email that they don't have access to. That way they're not getting mail to the house. You can consider using a P.O. box for any mail, okay? Don't use a shared account in the bank account on any shared computers or devices, okay? You don't want anything to accidentally automatically log in. Use a different bank account than your joints. So if you guys have a joint in Bank of America, go to Chase. Okay, go to Wells Fargo. Something completely different. Keep the debit card hidden with a trusted friend. Okay, this is really important. I've been through this, so please listen. The mental steps you need to do if you're worried is you need to remember that having your own bank account is completely normal and it's an adult thing to do. And you should have your own bank account. You should never rely on somebody. You should always be independent. And I'll always teach my children that, to be independent of themselves. Because that's more important than relying on somebody else for money, and then they decide that they want to leave and they take everything and, you know, they lock you out. You need to be able to work and depend on yourself so that way, you know, you can always make sure that you're safe and you're able to leave. Now remember, if you're afraid of them finding out about basic financial independence, this definitely confirms you need to leave. So you need to leave. And the fear that you're feeling is evidence about how controlling they are, and it's not normal, okay? Now, what if you reached out to friends, but now you don't know what to say? This is so common. You finally worked up the courage to reach out, and I'm so proud of you. But now you're not sure how to share or explain what's been happening. So I wrote up some scripts for you guys, okay? Depending on your comfort level. If you're ready to share everything, you can say, hey, I really need to tell you what's been happening in my relationship. I know I've been distant, and there's a reason for that. Can we talk? That's a really good one. If you want to start small, you can say, I've been going through a rough patch and I could really use a friend. Are you free to hang out sometime this week? That way it's low key and you can share a little bit or a lot or whatever you feel comfortable with, you know? I think that's great. Or you can try, if you're not ready to share details, you can say, I know it's been a while since we last talked. I really miss our friendship and I would love to reconnect, you know? I think that's great. Put yourself out there, you know? Put yourself, you know, in a situation where you can hang out with a friend, someone you trust. And even if you don't reveal anything to them, you can still open yourself up and, you know, talk to them and, you know, get yourself out of that hole of feeling like, you know, you're worthless, no one loves you, and it's all your fault. Sometimes you just need clarity to feel the strength to do what you need to do. And that's okay. We all need that sometimes. What if you start looking at apartments, but everything seems too expensive? Well, welcome to the reality of single living, okay? It's definitely more expensive than splitting costs, but let's look at some options. And Kylie says, thank you. Thank you guys. If you're still with me and you're watching live, I'd appreciate some fire emojis in the chat. If you're watching this back live, I'm so happy. I hope you guys find value in this content. Now, ways to make it work, right? Consider getting a roommate, look at smaller places or different neighborhoods, factor in what you're making or you're contributing to the household expenses, make a plan. Remember that some expenses will actually go down, like food, entertainment that you've been covering for them. Hopefully not too much. Look into income-based housing if you qualify, and consider temporary arrangements while you get on your feet. Like I told you guys earlier, I stayed on someone's couch and it sucked. But I got out and that's all that mattered. Now you need to change your mind shift. Instead of thinking I can't afford to leave, think I can't afford to stay. You know? Calculate the emotional, mental, and physical costs of staying in a toxic relationship. That's important, okay? Nobody wants you to leave in a body bag. Everyone thinks that it won't happen to them until it does. And we want you to be safe. That's all we care about, okay? Now, what if you said, I told them I want to go to therapy and they freaked out? Well, the reaction tells you everything you need to know. If your spouse doesn't support you and doesn't support your personal growth, then, you know, they're not the one for me. And they're not the one for you. You know, if they tell you, you know, oh, you know, we can work through this ourselves, or, oh, you're just going to complain about me for an hour, blah, 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 you know? This is how you handle the resistance. Go anyway. You know, you don't need to tell them everything. And the reaction shows you that they don't actually care about you in the first place. Now, what if you had the conversation with them about leaving and they won't accept it? This is a really good one, okay? If you're just now joining us, hey guys, we're doing segment 2 of how to leave an abusive relationship. So happy to have you here. If you're watching this live, send me some fire emojis in the chat. If you're watching this back also later, happy to have you. Send me some fire emojis in the chat. So happy to have you guys here. Now, if you had this conversation about breaking up with them and they don't want you to leave, this is very classic toxic person response. You clearly said, I'm ending this relationship, right? And they heard, let's negotiate the terms of staying together, right? What not accepting, it looks like, right? We just need to talk about this some more. They're not accepting it. You can't just make this decision unilaterally. No. Let's take a break and revisit this in a few weeks. Absolutely not. You're not thinking clearly right now, baby. Absolutely not. Acting like the conversation never happened. The breakup didn't exist. No. What if they said you want to continue your plans of future together and completely ignore the conversation? They didn't accept it. They're telling other people you're going through a rough patch. They're not accepting it. And here's the reality check. Breakups are not a democracy, okay? You don't need their vote. Listen, my friends, breakups are not democracy. You don't need their votes or their approval or their agreement. One person can end a relationship, and that's how it works. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to handle this, okay? Don't keep having the same conversation over and over. Stop explaining or justifying your decision, okay? It's your decision. If you want to leave, you leave. Use your actions, not just words, and move out. Block their number, change your relationship status. Your safety is more important, okay? Remember, no is a complete sentence. If you're trying to leave an abusive relationship or toxic relationship, no is a complete sentence. Get your support system involved to help you stay strong, okay? Please, no is a full sentence. Now, what if you said, I'm out and you guys broke up, but you want to keep checking their social media? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Digital stalking struggle is real. I've done it. If you've done it in the chat, let me know if you've digitally stalked somebody. We're humans. We're naturally curious. Curiosity killed the cat. It's hard. It's hard to let go. I know that. But you need to do it. You need to block them, okay? You keep wanting to unblock them, see what they're up to. Who cares? Who cares? Okay? Maybe you're checking through friends' mutual accounts and looking for their tags. Stop doing that. It's toxic. Why do you keep doing this, right? Because you're conditioned and you're addicted to the drama and the chaos. You need to stop. You're hoping to see evidence that they're miserable without you. Who cares? They're going to be miserable without you, and you don't need to find out because you are more important. Okay? You're looking for validation that you made the right choice. You have. You don't need to keep checking their social media to find out. You're probably trauma bonded and you're going through withdrawal, and that's normal. But if you keep going back and you keep checking, you're not actually going to be able to finish the withdrawal. You need to stop, okay? Now, how to stop, okay? How to stop. Block them on everything, my friends, including accounts and anything you forgot about. Block, 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 okay? Ask mutual friends not to share information about them. That's a good one. Hey, I know we're friends and you're friends with so-and-so, and that's fine. I just would kindly ask that you just don't bring them up. You know, I'm working through something and I would really appreciate the space regarding that topic. Yeah, anyone who actually is your friend and cares would be like, yeah, girl, I got you. It's no problem. Or yeah, dude, no problem. I won't bring her up anymore, right? When you get the urge to call and check their social media and be a creep, call your friend instead, okay? Or watch one of our videos, either one. It'll distract you. Remember that their social media is probably fake anyway, okay? If they were a POS then, they're still a POS now. You know they're fake. You don't need to, keep finding out about it. Use that effort to better your life. Make something out of this. Don't let this toxic relationship hold you back anymore. Don't let this toxic relationship take a second more of your time. Take it, learn from it, and turn it into something good, okay? Remember, you're focusing on creating content for your own life, okay? Not consuming theirs. That was really deep. Who cares about their content? Stop consuming it. Who cares about their life? You need to do what's best for you, and you need to be happy. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to move on to another relationship, okay? You need to love yourself first. And I love you, so I'm loving you, but you need to love yourself first too, okay? Now, this is important. Remember the social media reality, right? Whenever you see their social media is probably designed to make you jealous, hello, and they're going to be fake and make you think that they're thriving, okay? Don't fall for that fake highlight reel, please. You know the truth. You know exactly what's going on. You know how they are. Let it go, okay? Just like the Frozen song, let it go, okay? We're going to talk about the emotional roller coaster. The emotional chaos that you're probably experiencing right now. It's normal. It's okay. It's part of the withdrawal process of being trauma bonded and being abused. Nobody warned you that leaving a toxic relationship feels like emotional whiplash, and it's hard. It's very hard. Thank you, Noctivist. Thank you guys so much for sending fire emojis in the chat. I really appreciate it. We're going to talk about why leaving a toxic relationship is so difficult sometimes, okay? The adrenaline phase, right? Right after you made the decision or conversation with yourself, you might feel euphoric, empowered. But then you're terrified and panicked, and you're stressed, and you're relieved, but you're guilty, and you feel strong during the day. And then weak at night when they're not next to you and you feel alone, right? Sometimes the night can be really consuming, and it's hard. But, this is normal, my friends, because you just made a huge life decision, and I'm so proud of you. Your nervous system's in fight or flight mode, and that's normal. You're running on adrenaline and determination, and reality hasn't fully set in yet, and that's okay. It's a process. That's okay. How do you handle this phase, though, right? Because leaving it's like grieving, right? Don't make any major decisions while you're in this state. Lean on your support system heavily. Focus on your immediate practical needs, right? Which is where to sleep, basic safety. Your job. Are you safe? Celebrate the fact that you've done something incredibly brave. Yay! That's amazing. Now, after a few weeks of leaving, you're going to start feeling that doubt tsunami, right? That's when the doubt hits hard. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe they would have really changed. I made a mistake. Maybe I'll never find anyone else to love me. Okay, now I really made a huge mistake. No, my friends, that's wrong. And I'm going to tell you why this happens and why you're feeling that way, right? Now, the adrenaline is wearing off, okay? You're really starting to feel the loneliness. They're probably love bombing and hoovering. Your trauma bond is in withdrawal now, and that's difficult. Remember, we talked about this being similar to a cocaine addiction, okay? But what do I do now? How do I survive the doubt tsunami, right? Read your list of leaving. I told you guys to document. Read your list of leaving. Talk to people who witnessed the toxic behavior. My neighbor saw me getting beat. She asked me why didn't I leave sooner, and I said, I don't know, I was stupid. But I left now, and that's all that matters. Remember that doubt doesn't mean that you're wrong, okay? Don't make any decisions to go back during this phase. We already made the decision. We already left. We're not going back. There's only your future and going forward, okay? You can do this. I believe in you, okay? Now, a few months in, you left, and you're really feeling the grief, okay? Because it happens. You're grieving the marriage. You're grieving the relationship. You're grieving your husband, you're grieving your girlfriend, you're grieving, and it's hard, right? Even though the relationship was toxic and you're abused or beat or you got a black eye or they broke your wrist, you're grieving. You're grieving the person that you thought they were. You're grieving the future you planned. You're grieving the time you wasted you'll never get back. You're grieving the family that you had. You're grieving the version of yourself that you were in a relationship with because you were happy in the happy moments, but not in the relationship. And I want to tell you, okay, the grief is valid and it's normal. You're not grieving the abuse, you're grieving the loss of what you thought was what was going to be. And it's okay to miss the good times while still knowing you made the right choice, okay? Grief isn't linear. Some days you'll have good days and some days you'll have bad days, and that's normal. Missing them doesn't mean that you should go back, okay? Stick with it. How to process the grief, though, right? Let yourself feel it without judgment. I cried every night till 2, 3, 4 a.m. all the time. Sometimes I still do, and that's okay. Let yourself feel it, you know? Talk to somebody. Talk to your counselor. Journal your feelings. Create rituals to honor what you're letting go, right? Remember, we want to talk about self-affirmation. You are worthy. You are lovable. Remember that grief is love with nowhere to go, okay? Now you're a few months more in, probably month 4 to 6, and this is where the healing really truly starts to begin, okay? Remember, you're remembering what it's like to not walk on eggshells. You're remembering how to enjoy things again. You're excited about your future. You realize how much energy you have when you're not managing someone else's emotions, because that's the best. So just be happy and responsible for yourself. Signs that you're healing would be you're going on a whole day without thinking about them, and that's a big win, right? You make plans for your future. You feel so proud of yourself for leaving, and you start to trust your own judgment again, right? You're not second guessing yourself, and it feels so good. The setbacks are normal. Even when you're healing, you have setbacks. It doesn't mean you need to completely regress all the progress that you've made. If you see them unexpectedly, if you're hearing your song on the radio, if you have any anniversaries or special dates, if you have any mutual friends mentioning them, you know, holidays or events you used to share, that's hard. But you're not going to let it set you back all the way, right? This is how we're going to handle setbacks, okay? You're going to expect them and plan for them. If you have to run into them, if you guys have family events you have to attend together, be prepared, you know? You can't avoid them forever. Remember that setbacks don't erase progress. Be gentle with yourself on the hard days. Focus, my friends, and remember how far you've come, not how far you have to go. Okay? We're going to talk about rebuilding your new life. This is the fun part, you guys. This is it. This is the fun part. This is where you get to discover and rediscover who you are and what you actually want, right? Thank you, Kylie. If you guys are just now joining us, please send me some fire emojis in the chat. And if you're watching this back live, comment. Please let me know if you found any value in this video. We're going to keep working at it because we want to give you guys all the information and tools to leave an abusive relationship. Now, we're going to talk about rediscovering your identity. You've probably lost touch with yourself outside this relationship, and that's normal. Toxic relationships have a way of making you disappear into the role of managing their emotions, which also, might I add, is exhausting, and it's not fun. These are the questions you need to ask yourself about rediscovering yourself, right? What did I love doing before this relationship, right? What are my actual opinions on things, not theirs? What are my goals and dreams? What makes me feel alive and excited? What kind of person do I want to be? For me, I loved doing music, and I loved, you know, playing volleyball, and I loved seeing my friends without getting a million texts that I need to come home because they couldn't bear the thought of me having a friend outside of them, which is exhausting, being their only friend and having them suck everything out of you like a vampire. It's exhausting, you know? An identity recovery activity would be make a list of things you used to enjoy, you know, some new hobbies, activities, spend time alone getting to know yourself, read a new book. I read all the Harry Potters and I loved it. I loved it so much and it distracted me. I didn't check their social media, I didn't even think about them. Bye. Ask old friends what they remember about the old you. Take a new class, learn a new skill, you know. Learn to sew, learn to knit. Learn to paint. Painting's beautiful. There's so many tutorials on YouTube on how to watercolor paint. Okay? Rebuild your social life because we're humans, right? We're social animals. Even if you're antisocial, still having a friend or two is really important to keep you level and keep you grounded, right? Toxic relationships often isolate you from friends and family. So it's time to rebuild those connections and make new ones, okay? Reconnect with old friends. Don't be expecting everyone to welcome you back immediately. That's perfectly fine. You know, rebuilding relationships and trust takes time. Be patient. Focus on the relationship that feel genuine and supportive, right? Making new friends. Join some clubs. Join the gym. Do a spin class. That'll whoop your butt. Spin class, I had no time to think about anything else. Those are so much fun. They're no joke. Kylie says she loves sewing, right? Do something that makes you happy. Keep your mind busy. Your mind needs to keep going. Volunteer for some causes you care about. I volunteered at the shelter and helped pet all the cats because that was so much fun. Say yes to some social invitations, even if you don't want to go. You never know. Put yourself out there. There's been so many times that I've been invited to something and I was like, I don't want to go. But if I forced myself to go, once I was actually there, I actually had a really good time. But it was the transition and the awkwardness, and like I just didn't want to go, I didn't want to get ready, any of those things. But I did it, I sucked it up, and I went, and I had a really good time. Sometimes you really just have to put yourself out there. It's not gonna fall into your face and you know, and be easy. You gotta put some work into it, okay? Social anxiety is normal. After being isolated, social situations are gonna feel overwhelming at first, you know? It's completely normal. So start yourself small, work your way up to any bigger social events, you know? Create some new routines. You had routines built around their schedule and their preferences, and now you gotta create routines that actually serve you, right? Here's some morning routines. What do you want yours to look like? Maybe you're a coffee in bed person, or maybe you want to start exercising right away. Maybe you want to try meditating. That's fun too. It helps me bring peace. Design a morning that makes you happy, right? Instead of cooking and catering to somebody else. Now let's talk about some evening routines. How do you want to wind down? Maybe it's reading or taking a bath, calling some friends, you know, working on some hobbies. Create an evening routine and stick to it that helps you feel relaxed and fulfilled. Because you have to love yourself first, right? Weekend plans. You don't have to spend every weekend managing their moods and doing whatever they want to do. What do you want to do? Do you want to travel? Do you want to adopt a pet? Do you want to learn a new language? You know, do what makes you happy. Now we're going to talk about setting some new goals, okay? Now that you're not pouring all this energy into a toxic relationship, you have the bandwidth and the energy to set your own goals and dreams, and that's amazing. There's nothing better than someone who's ready to start fresh, right? With nothing holding them back. So let's talk about some short-term goals for the first 3 months, okay? Get settled in your new living situation, whatever that may be. It's going to be different for everybody, okay? You need to rebuild your support system, establish new routines, and focus on your mental health. If your mental health is not strong, you're going to go back to them. You're going to be in a really dark place. You have to love yourself. You have to put yourself in a good mental place. And I'm telling you, it's very hard, but you can do it. You can do it, okay? Let's talk about some medium goals about the 3 to 12 months mark, okay? We want to talk about pursuing hobbies and interests that you've neglected or didn't put effort in, but now you have the time. Consider career changes or an advancement. Maybe you've been gunning for that promotion, but you couldn't make it work because you're too busy catering to somebody else. Do it now. Travel, explore new places, work on personal development. Work on yourself. Long-term goals of a year. Consider what you want future relationships, right? Because you don't want to date right away and have a rebound. You need to be healed first. Think about some major life changes you want to make. Do you want to move to a different state? Do you want to move to a different country? You know, what do you want for yourself? Set some financial and career goals. Consider moving to a new city and making some big changes. That's exciting, and I want to be excited for you. You know, if you end up making any of those decisions, let us know in the chat or send in the anonymous submission that I'm going to send again in the chat. I want to know. I want to be here for you. I want to hear the updates, okay? I want to know. Now, we're going to talk about the healing journey. And we're going to talk about 2 really important things. How to help others who may be in a toxic relationship, and how to protect yourself from getting into another one, okay? If you find any value in this content, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. We put a lot of work into these videos, and we want to make sure if you guys like it, we want to keep making it, okay? So if you can do us a favor and send us some fire emojis in the chat, if you can hit like on this video, you can subscribe to our channel. It allows us to keep making content. So thank you guys so much. Now, how to help someone who's in a toxic relationship. What if you're watching this and it's your friend that's in a toxic relationship and you're here because someone you love is in a toxic relationship? This section is for you, okay? And if you've been through it yourself, you may find yourself in a position to help others, which is great, right? Now, these are the things what not to do. Don't give them ultimatums. It's them or me. You're only going to push them further into the other person's arms, and we don't want to do that. Don't badmouth their partner constantly, okay? Don't try to rescue them. Don't get frustrated when they don't leave immediately. Don't share their private information with other people without their permission, okay? This is what to do. Listen without judgment. Validate their experiences. Remind them of their worth, okay? Help them create a safety plan if they are ready. Be patient, okay? Leaving takes time. Stay connected even when they pull away. Offer practical support when they're ready. Things you can say to help them, right? Hey, I'm really worried about you. I want you to know that you deserve to be treated with respect. I'm here for you no matter what you decide. I want to let you know I love you and this behavior is not normal or okay. I want to let you know that I believe you and I'm sorry you're going through this. Okay? Those are things that you can say. Now, these are things what not to say, okay? Just leave them already. I told you so. You never listen. Why do you stay with them anyway? You're wasting time. You're being so stupid. I can't watch this anymore. Don't talk to me until you leave them, right? That's hard. You're only pushing them further into their arms, and we don't want to do that. We just got an anonymous submission. It says, someone's asking how to help their sister who keeps going back to the toxic ex. This is so hard to watch, but remember, you can't want someone's freedom more than they want it themselves. All you can do is be there for her until she's ready, okay? I know that's hard to hear, but it's kind of like an addict, right? You keep forcing the rehab, but it's not going to work unless they really want it for themselves, okay? All you can do is love them from afar, love them from close up, love them and give them all the love that you can and let them know that you're here for them until they're ready to leave, okay? Now, we need to talk about red flags for future relationships, okay? Eventually, you'll be ready to date again. What happens when that time comes? Let's talk about it. You'll be much better at spotting red flags very early, okay? Here's what to watch out for. We don't want you guys to join another toxic relationship if you just left one. If you guys are just now joining, thank you guys so much for joining our Toxic Tuesday Live. Segment 2 on how to leave an abusive relationship, okay? Now, these are the early warning signs of a toxic and abusive relationship, okay? Love bombing, number 1. Too much too soon. We have a whole video on our channel about love bombing. Make sure you guys check it out. If the person you're talking to is pushing for commitment too quickly, that's a huge warning red sign of a huge red flag. If they're wanting to spend all their time with you, that's a red flag. Getting jealous of your family and friends is a huge red flag. Making them feel guilty about having boundaries is a huge red flag. If they're trying to change you or improve you, that's a huge red flag, okay? Those are all the important warning signs that you guys need to listen, okay? Having a bad relationship with all of their exes, that's a red flag. If they're respecting your no, which is a full sentence, that's also a red flag and a warning sign, okay? Now, enough of red flags. Let's talk about green flags. We also have a video on our channel about green flags, okay? These are the green flags you need to look for. Respecting your boundaries, that's a green flag. If they encourage your friendships and your interests, that's a very green flag. If they communicate openly and honesty, that's a green flag. Even if that hurts sometimes. Sometimes open communication is really important. Yep, Kylie says huge red flag. You're right. If they have their own life and interests, that's a green flag galore. Okay? If they support your goals and dreams, what do we say, my friends? Green flag. If they make you feel safe and valued, that's a green flag. If they have a healthy relationship with others, that's also a green flag, okay? Thank you guys so much. Please make sure you hit like on our video and you hit subscribe and comment below in the chat. That helps us to be able to keep creating this content and give you guys valuable information. Okay, now we're going to talk about trusting your gut, okay? The most important thing you can do is trust your intuition again. Your gut was probably screaming at you through your toxic relationship, but you learned to ignore it. That's bad. If you have that gut feeling, you know. Let's practice trusting your gut, okay? Start with small decisions. What to eat, what to wear. Notice how your body feels around different people. Pay attention to your first impressions. Don't ignore red flags hoping they'll change. That's the worst thing ever. Remember that you don't need proof to end a relationship, okay? Now, if you're still with me, this is important. Take your time. There's no rush into getting into another relationship. You need to heal first, okay, my friends? You have to heal. You have to heal and take time to heal, to rediscover yourself and build a life that you love first. You need to love yourself and build your own life first before dating somebody else. People keep skipping that step and then wondering why they can't get it right, because you're skipping a whole entire step, okay? The best relationships happen when you're whole and healed and you're happy on your own. Then you're thinking clearly, right? You're not clouded by the bad judgment. These are signs that you're ready to date again, okay? You're genuinely happy about being single. That's a green flag. You process the trauma from your past relationship. That's a green flag. You can spot red flags clearly. That's a green flag. You're not looking for someone to complete you. That's also a green flag. If you have a strong support system, doesn't have to be family if you're not on good terms with your family. It can be friends. It can be therapist. It can be your boss. It can be anyone. If you have a strong support system and you're not going to fall back into being sucked in, then you're ready to date again. If you trust your own judgment, you're ready to date again. Yes, Kylie says she has all of these. So happy for you, Kylie. That's great. Now we're going to talk about the final check-in and next steps, okay? This is what my final check-in with all of you is. I want to check in with you guys, okay? Where are you right now? If you're watching live, you're either in an abusive or toxic relationship or you love somebody that is and you want to help them. So this is time for chat interaction time, okay? I want you to drop in the chat where you are in your journey right now, okay? If you're watching this live, let me know. If you're watching this back later, I want to know where you're at in your journey, okay? Are you still gathering the courage to take the first step? That's fine too. You're thinking about it, and that's important. That's a good step. Are you in the middle of planning your exit? That's also a good step. Where are you in your journey, my friends? I want to know. Are you recently out and you left and you're dealing with the aftermath? Are you well into your healing journey months later? I want to hear. Are you supporting someone else through this process? You're a great friend. Let's hear about it. Please let me know. If you don't feel comfortable in sending it in the chat, then I can send you the anonymous link that we've been getting a bunch of submissions on. I'm going to copy and paste this real quick again for you guys. You can submit it in. Oh, we just got another one. Noctivus says, thinking about planning an exit. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know, Noctivus. We love you and wish you the best, and we hope that you found value in our content to give you guys the strength and love and self-affirmation to know that you're worth it and you're worthy to leave, and that's okay. And leaving is okay. Starting over is okay. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the relationship, starting over is okay. Let me read you the anonymous submission we just got. 1 second. They said that they are in the process of leaving and they just opened their bank account. And they put 20 bucks in. Hey, thank you for submitting that in. If you're still here and you are in this live, I'm so proud of you for opening that bank account and putting 20 bucks in. I'm so proud of you, okay? I want to hear and see from you next week to let me know how you're doing, because I want to know and I'm here for you, okay? So listen, if you're still in a relationship, pick one small step from last week's stream and do it this week. Just one. Open up that bank account, reach out to the friend, start documenting. One step. That's all I need, and let me know next week, okay? If you're planning your exit, focus on building your support team and your safety plan, okay? Don't do everything all at once. Pick the most important pieces and work on that first, okay? If you've recently left, be gentle and patient with yourself. Focus on basic self-care and lean heavily on your support system. Don't make any major decisions while you're in an emotional chaos phase. It's very easy to start making the wrong choices because you're not thinking straight, okay? Especially to go back. Do not do that. Do not. If you're well into the healing journey, consider how you might help others where you used to be. Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Okay? Thank you guys for the anonymous submissions and letting me know where you're at in the chat. I love you guys. And thankful that you guys chose to be with me on this Tuesday night. I want to let you know that there's one thing that's been clear from the response from last week's stream is that how much you guys really enjoyed last week's video and how much you guys need each other. The comments and the messages we've got on the shared experience, you guys are really communicating and creating a community of support, and I'm so thankful for you guys. And I want to encourage you guys to keep supporting each other, okay? Let me know. Share your wins. Ask for help when you need it. And remember that you're not alone in this journey. You're not, because I'm here and I've been through it. I've been through a lot. Okay, my ex tried to kill me. Legitimately. And he did go to jail for it for a long time. And it's hard to heal and process through, and it really messes up your mindset. And it's scary, but you can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it, okay? So I want to let you guys know that I'm talking from my heart. I'm talking out of a place of love from somebody that should have left, and I couldn't because I just wanted somebody to love me, you know, and it was stupid. You know, being loved and then being murdered is not worth it. okay? Love yourself first, okay? Remember, these are the important resources I'm going to give you, okay? These are really important. The National Domestic Violence Abuse Hotline is 1-800-799-7233, okay? I'm going to text this in the chat for you guys, okay? The crisis text line, if you can't call, text HOME, okay? To 741741, okay? The National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. And the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which I also put in the chat, is 988. And remember, you don't have to be in physical danger to use these resources. Emotional abuse is still abuse and you deserve support, okay? I want to let you guys know that progress isn't always linear. Sometimes progress is a little bit. Sometimes progress is going backwards, you know? And it doesn't always look like what you think it should look like. Some days, the process is going to be hard, and progress is just getting out of bed. Some days, it's not about healing. It's just about you not texting them back, and that's a big step. Some days, it's about remembering that you deserve better, and that's okay. Every step you take toward freedom and healing matters. Every boundary you set, every time you trust your gut, every time you remember you choose yourself, it matters. You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and more loved than you know. And if no one has told you today, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm proud of you. I love you. Even if I've never met you, I have love for you because you're here, and I want you to know that you're not alone. I've literally been through it, I promise you. And if you're here, I love you. And I'm proud of you for seeking help and choosing to break the cycle, because it's really hard. It's not easy. It's very hard. It took me years to leave and I almost died. He almost killed me. But I made it out, okay? So I want to let you know. Next Tuesday, we're going to talk about dating after toxicity. How to trust again without losing yourself. So if you're at that stage or you want to start thinking about what healthy looks like, go ahead, okay? Make sure you turn on your notifications, you subscribe to our channel, and we're going to cover things about what to look for if you're ready to date again. Red flags versus green flags in new relationships. How to maintain your independence when building intimacy. That's important. Having intimacy with a new partner is terrifying, okay? We're going to talk about that. We're going to deal with triggers and trauma responses in new relationships. I'm going to share this with you. It's a little personal. But when I was in a relationship when I was younger, I used to be choked out all the time, and I would have blood vessels pop in my eyes, and it was very difficult, and I would always have marks around my neck, and I had trouble breathing. And in a new relationship after that, I had a huge phobia of people touching my neck or hugging me. You know, if somebody tried to cuddle with me, I was so terrified that they would choke me in my sleep. And it took me a really, really, really long time to get over that, and I still really don't like people touching my neck. So I want to let you know that it's possible and it can be done, and it takes time. So give yourself patience, love yourself. You know, you can do it. I believe in you. We're going to talk about setting boundaries from day one and how to trust your gut when it's been broken before, okay? I'm going to give you some homework this week, okay? If you're still in this toxic relationship, do one thing that's for you. Take a class. Take the pottery class. Take that reading class. You know, go to the library, call an old friend, start a hobby, open that bank account. Something that reminds you of you before you're in this relationship, okay? If you're planning your exit, I have homework for you. Have one honest conversation with someone in your support system and tell them what's really happening and ask for specific help with one aspect of your plan, okay? That's your homework. If you've recently left, I have homework for you. Practice saying no to something this week. It can be small. No to plans you don't want to do. No to a request that doesn't serve you. No to guilt trips from anyone. Practice using your voice. I have homework for you and you need to do it. If you're healing and thriving, I have homework for you. Reach out to someone who might need support. Share your story if you're comfortable. Or just let someone know that you're thinking of them. Your healing can help others. I didn't want to share my story for years, and honestly, it's still really embarrassing to talk about. How could I let myself be choked out and beaten daily is beyond me, you know? But I felt like I was worthless and I didn't deserve anything, and that's what I deserved. And that's not true, okay? It's not. So you need to understand that you're beautiful and you're loved, and you shouldn't be accepting any of that, okay? And I want to let you know some messages I got from last week's stream really quick to let you know that You're not alone, and the live that I did last week helped a lot of people. One said, my sister watched your stream and finally left her toxic boyfriend, and I'm so thankful. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that one. Another one said, I shared this with my daughter and she's finally getting help. She's not ready to leave yet, but she's making the plans. That's amazing. That's a huge win. Someone else said, watching this made me realize I was being toxic in my own relationship and I need to change. That's amazing. That's amazing. This is how change happens, one person at a time, one story at a time, and one brave decision at a time. You're not just saving yourself. You're saving your children, your future children, your friends, your future parents, your future partners, and people you haven't met yet, okay? And a message to all our supporters. If you're here because you love someone in a toxic relationship, I see you too. Watching someone you care about stay in a harmful situation is heartbreaking and frustrating. And I want you to remember that you can't love someone out of a toxic relationship, okay? You can't. Your job is to be supportive, not their savior. Take care of your own mental health too. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set boundaries about what you will and won't enable. But also, don't give up on them either. Don't sacrifice yourself, but don't give up on them either, okay? I want you to remember that this is a long game. Healing from toxic relationships isn't something that happens in a week, or a month, or even a year. It's an ongoing process of learning to trust yourself and setting boundaries and choosing people who will treat you well. There will be setbacks, there'll be days that you miss them and doubt your decision, there'll be times you feel lonely or scared, that's all part of the process. There will be days when you wake up and realize you're finally happy, days where you laugh without thinking about them, days that you feel proud about how far you've come, days when you can help someone else find their strength to leave, okay? It will happen. You can do it. I believe in you. I want to let you know how important these streams are to me personally. I wish that I found it or watched them a long time ago. So that's why this is personal to me. What I love most about these streams, though, is how you guys are supporting each other in the comments, in the chat. And you guys are sharing resources and offering encouragement and creating a community of people who understand what you've been through. And I want to encourage you to keep doing that. Use the hashtag #DateOrDetonate when you guys share your wins or you need support, okay? Check on each other. Celebrate small victories together, okay? Because here's the thing. Toxic people try to isolate you and make you feel like you're the only one going through this, okay? But I'm here to tell you that's a damn lie. You're not alone. There are thousands of people watching this stream who understand exactly what you've been through, okay? You're not alone. Before we end, I want to give you a permission slip, okay? So listen carefully. You, my friend, you have permission to leave a relationship that makes you unhappy, even if others don't understand. You have permission. You have my permission. You need to put your mental health first. You have permission to put your mental health first. You have permission to set boundaries, even if people call you selfish. You have permission. Take as many minutes, days, times, years, months to heal. Take the time. You have permission. Change your mind about people who have hurt you. Protect your peace even if it disappoints others, and choose yourself over and over again, okay? You don't need anyone else's permission to live a life that doesn't make you happy and healthy. But if you need to hear it from someone else, I'm telling you, this is your permission slip for me, okay? I love you guys so much. This is why we do these streams. You guys are so brave, and I'm honored to be a part of your journey. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being vulnerable and supporting each other. If this stream helped you, please comment below in the chat. Please share it with somebody that needs to hear it. Hit subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss another Toxic Tuesday. And just remember, wherever you are in your journey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. When you start recognizing the toxic behavior, or whether you're years into your healing journey, a small win is a small win, and a win is a win, okay? I want to see you guys drop some hearts in the chat if you've committed to choosing yourself and your happiness, no matter how scary that gets. I see every single one of you, and I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of the courage that you guys have. Until next Tuesday, keep blocking, blessing, and bounce with style. Keep choosing yourself. Keep choosing your gut. Keep remembering that you're worth it, and you're not just surviving. You're learning to thrive, okay? This has been Date or Detonate, where we turn red flags into freedom flags and support each other through the whole journey. I love you all. I believe in you all, and I'll see you next week for Dating After Toxicity, how to trust again without losing yourself. Peace out, my beautiful humans. You've got this. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.